Hello and welcome to Gentle Yoga. I'm Heather. I'm so happy you joined me today for this lovely chill practice. For today's practice, grab a blanket. It can be a throw blanket off your couch. Also grab a strap, a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt. You can also use a long scarf. Anything will do that has some length to it, about 5 to 6 feet. And if you have yoga blocks, go ahead and grab those too. So I'll meet you back here in just a moment. You're gonna take your blanket, if you're using one, and just place it at the back of your mat. That can be a little pillow for your head. And just have your strap or your belt or your scarf handy as you come on down to your back. And as you come down, just take a moment to stretch out, reach your hands behind you. You can stretch a little right and left as if you're just waking up in the morning. And then bending your knees, allow your hands to come to your belly. You're just gonna pause here and just start to connect with your body and with your breath. So feeling your mat under your feet, under your head, under your pelvis, under your shoulders. And noticing how as you inhale, your belly rises up, and as you exhale, your belly begins to fall down. Begin to add a little effort to your breath. Inhaling, expanding through your belly. And exhaling, pulling that belly in. Let go of any judgment you have, right? Sometimes when you're asked to touch parts of your body, our insecurities come out. But your body is an amazing, wonderful thing, right? Everything your body can do, it's just shocking, right? It's a miracle. And so learn to love and appreciate your body. Go ahead and slide the hands up towards your rib cage and just find the bottom of your rib cage. And as you inhale, feel your belly expand and notice how the rib cage lifts up and expands as well. Exhaling down and out. Inhale, belly and rib cage. And exhale, rib cage and belly. And just take a few more of these breaths, focusing on the expansion you feel, and then the release that comes with the exhale. You release your hands down and start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. And take your time here finding these first movements, these gentle movements. And the next time that the knees fall over to the left, allow them to hang out there. Come to the outer edge of your left foot and the inner arch of your right foot. And you'll feel a little pulling, a little stretch through the right hip, a little through the outside of your right thigh, probably a little bit through that left inner thigh. And on your next inhale, lifting your knees back up, keeping your feet hips width distance apart. Drop both knees over to the right. You're just gonna hang out here on the outer edge of your right foot and rock to the inner arch of your left foot. And so now feeling that stretch run down through the left hip, the outside of that left thigh. As you inhale, bring the knees back through center and begin to hug your right knee in. You can interlace your fingers and take them just below your right knee. If that's a little challenging, you can interlace them behind your right knee. Maybe your hands slide down onto your right shin a little more and just start to pull that right knee in towards your belly. You'll feel your right thigh compress onto the right side of your belly, and that's what we want. Your left leg can stay bent, or you can make that left leg really active and straighten your left leg all the way to the top of your mat. If you straighten that left leg, make sure it doesn't add any discomfort to your low back. So if you feel any pulling or arching in your low back, simply keep that left knee bent. And you're going to take 5 breaths here. Each time you inhale, really expand the belly, the rib cage. Exhale, pull that right thigh in a little tighter. This pose is Apanasana. It's great to increase flexibility in your hips. We're getting a big compression at your hip crease right now. It's also really nice for your digestion because you're squeezing that right side of your abdomen, giving it a little internal massage. And it's a great stretch for your psoas. It can be nice too if you're really tight in your glutes. And go ahead and release that right foot. You're going to drop your right foot down to the ground and simply open your right knee out to the right side, finding a reclined tree pose. Feel free to walk your right foot in a little closer to the inside of your left leg. And you can relax there, maybe even take your hands to your hip points at a press. You can also pick up your right foot and cross it on top of your left thigh. Just make sure it's not crossing on your knee for a little more intense hip opener. And relax your glutes on that right side. In just a moment here, we're going to address our hamstring on the right leg. But a lot of times when your hamstrings are tight, your hips are also tight. So it can be beneficial to open the hips first before coming into a bigger hamstring stretch. And begin to lift your right knee back up to the sky and hug your right knee back in. You're going to reach for that strap or belt or scarf and place the strap around the ball of your right foot. You can lift your head up to do so. And then lift that right foot up towards the sky. And you want to take one end of the strap or belt in each hand and be really generous with the beginning of this stretch. So slide your hands down closer to your body so that you're not struggling to hold on to this alignment. Bending the right knee as much as you need to. We just start to feel the length build through the back of your right leg. Start to pull your right toes back towards your right shin as you lift your right heel up to the sky. And that's going to create a yummy stretch through the back of your right lower leg as well. So that left leg, it can remain straight as long as there's not any discomfort in your low back, or you can bend that left knee and keep your left foot on the ground. Go ahead and move both ends of your strap into your right hand and place your left palm firm to your left hip or the top of your left thigh, because you want to ground that left hip down. Inhale. As you exhale, just start to pull gently that right leg back. Think of those right toes coming all the way overhead. And if you can get them all the way over the head, I want someone to take your picture and then send it to me, okay? But just start to relax the back of your right thigh. We feel tightness and we want to meet that tightness with tightness, right? But meet that resistance with softness instead. I know I said that a few weeks ago in one of my classes, but that's a good life lesson, right? Meet resistance with softness instead of more resistance. And start to bend your right knee. Go ahead, release your strap and straighten your right leg all the way to the top of the mat, even if that left knee is bent. And relax. If I were to measure your legs, your right leg would probably be a little bit longer, and it might feel that way as well. And start to bend your knees again. Feet come to the mat. And windshield wiper the knees side to side. So we're just coming back to that very first movement. And gentle yoga is such a lovely form of yoga because it incorporates traditional yoga moves and poses, but approaches them in a lot calmer, slower, more gentle way. We still develop flexibility and strength, but we're able to slow down and really have time in the shapes to feel our body, our breath. And as the knees come to center, hug your left knee in. You can interlace those fingers, place them below that left knee, maybe down onto the shin. Or if that's challenging, take your hands behind that left knee and start to squeeze your left thigh in. Your right knee can stay bent, or you can straighten your right leg. You take 5 breaths here, each exhale, pulling that left thigh in. Expanding the belly and the rib cage as you inhale. And really long, complete exhale. Begin to release that left foot down to the mat. And now finding that reclined tree pose, just open your left knee out to the left side. Maybe walk your left foot in a little closer to the inside of your right leg. Maybe your hands come up onto your hip points and notice if there's a higher hip, a lower hip. Just notice that. It's okay. And if you want a little more, pick up your left foot, cross it on top of your right thigh. Soften the space around your left hip. So this pose is less about the effort and just about creating this shape that's going to naturally encourage an external rotation of your thigh bone at your hip. It's going to be hip opening. Begin to lift that left knee back up and hug your left knee in. You're going to find that strap or belt. And maybe lifting the head to place that strap around the ball of your left foot. And allow the left leg to rise up to the sky. Take one end of your strap in each hand. And again, be generous, right? You don't need to fight with this too much. Think of your strap as scaffolding, supporting the shape for those first few breaths. And if it creates any discomfort in your low back, bend your right knee. You start to lift that left heel up towards the ceiling, pulling those left toes back towards your left shin. Feel that yumminess through the back of your left calf. So now that you've been in this shape for a few breaths, take both ends of the strap in the left hand. Maybe that left hand slides up a little higher. Right palm is going to come on top of your right hip or right thigh to add a press down. And each time you exhale, think of pulling those left toes back towards the rear of your mat. And then bending your left knee to remove your strap. Straighten your left leg down to meet your right. And hopefully you feel a little more even, a little longer. You can roll the ankles around a few times in each direction. Beautiful. Start to bend both knees, and you're going to bring your feet hips width distance apart. If you have a blanket under your head, just make sure it's on that lowest height right now. If it's folded up pretty high, you want to be pretty much flat on your mat, but you can have a little lift there. And then also make sure that your shoulders are on the mat. Feet point forward. You're going to push through your elbows and just tuck that right shoulder blade under. Tuck your left shoulder blade under. You'll feel your chest lift a bit. Relax your hands down by your hips. Pushing through your heels, lift your hips up to the sky, finding bridge pose. And feel the back of your head push into your mat. And you'll feel all the effort in your thighs, your glutes. But it's a wonderful stretch through the front of your hips. And you're just going to breathe here. Take 3 deep breaths. Push a little more through your heels. Relax your toes. And as you exhale, coming back down with your hips. And just relax. We're going to do a second bridge pose. So once again, pushing down through your elbows, tuck your shoulder blades under, release the hands, push through the feet, lift your hips. And maybe you walk the shoulders under a little more, maybe you push through your heels a little more. And I want you to think of your inner thighs. Roll them in and down as you reach the bottom of your glutes towards the backs of your knees. And then think of your knees pushing forward towards the top of your mat. Relax the back of your head down into the mat. Pull your low belly in and take one more breath. And then slowly, with the strength of your legs and your abdominals, lower the hips down. Gently hug your knees into your belly just to get a little counter stretch. You'll feel your low back come to the mat. You can rock a little side to side. Beautiful. And then just choose a side to roll over to and pause in your fetal pose. Because we've been on our backs for quite some time, so I don't want you to come up too fast. Just take it easy. And then begin to rise up at your own pace. Use your hands to help you up. And we're gonna come into a tabletop position onto all fours. If your knees are sensitive, you can use a blanket under your knees or just set your blankets aside. As you rise up to that tabletop, spread through your fingers nice and wide. And find cat and cow. Inhale, drop your belly down, pull your heart forward, lift your tail. And then exhale, push through your hands, tuck your tail, round through your upper back. Relax your head. Do 2 more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And one more really long breath in as you drop the belly, lift the tail. And very long exhale, pull that belly up towards your low back, round. Come back to your neutral spine. So you're gonna start to come into that cow pose, dropping the belly, lift the tail. And maybe you hang here. If you can, lift that right heel up to the sky. So you still have that arch in your spine, but you're just lifting through that right heel. Push down through your hands, spin your biceps forward. And you'll feel this in your low back. Inhale. As you exhale, we find that cat pose by bringing the right knee in towards the heart, bowing the head. And then inhale, find your cow, lift that right heel. Exhale, crunch it in. One more inhale. And exhale. Drop your right knee down, and you're gonna sit your hips back to your heels. Walk your hands over to the left just a little bit, and think of pushing your right hip towards your right heel. You can bow the head, it may touch, it may float off your mat. And then rising back up. So that's gonna create some heat right in your body. Just be okay with that effort. You're back in your table. Come back into your cow, drop your belly, lift your tail. So you can gaze just to the top edge of your mat, or maybe you gaze straight ahead. But if your neck starts to bother you in this pose, just take the gaze down slightly. Lift your left heel up to the sky. And stay in that cow pose, right? You should feel a lot of sensation in your low back. Pull your belly in to help support that low back. As you exhale, rounding through the upper back, bring the left knee into the belly. Inhale, drop the belly, lift that left heel. Exhale, round and crunch. Just one more. Inhale. And exhale. Drop your left knee down, sit your hips back to your heels. Walk your hands over to the right just a little bit. Think of pushing that left hip towards that left heel. As you bow the head, relax. As you inhale, lift the head, walk the hands back through center. And you're going to come forward into table and then come onto your belly. So as you come onto your belly, bring your forehead down to the mat. Reach your hands back by your hips. Fingertips touch the mat and the toes. Each toenail touches the mat. On your inhale, think of lifting your forehead, lifting your chest, rolling the shoulders back. Lift the fingertips, lift the toes. Exhale, lower everything down. Inhale, lift everything up. Head, chest, shoulders, fingers, toes. Exhale, lower down. One more here. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Bring your hands forward, come up onto your forearms in Sphinx pose. And yes, I'm working your low back a lot right now. So just wiggle around a little bit, wag your tail. As you stack your shoulders on top of your elbows, feel free to drop your chest down if this is intense. Or really push down through your elbows and pull your heart forward. Think of that cow pose. Keep your head in line with your spine here. So we're going to add a little bit of strength to this Sphinx. You're going to walk your hands in, interlace your fingers, make a little shelf with your thumbs, and no death grips, right? Imagine there's something really fragile in between your palms and you don't want to squash it. Curl your toes under and push the balls of the feet into your mat. And then I want you to really pull your belly in and up. So you almost feel it lift off the mat, and then push through your elbows, your feet, lift your forearm plank. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. You can tap your knees down, bring your hips down, and then you can relax the belly. Come back to your Sphinx. 3 breaths. So we're gonna repeat that forearm plank. I know you're excited, right? Bring your hands together, curl the toes under, pull that belly in and up, lift your hips up in line with your shoulders. Hold here for 3, 2, and this time you're gonna start to walk your feet in and lift your hips. Separate your feet, hips width distance apart. And you're in a dolphin pose. Right? You're on your forearms. It's kind of like downward facing dog, but you're on your forearms. So push down through your elbows. Relax your shoulders. Think of your inner thighs rolling in and back, right? That's gonna help you sustain the pose. Make this about your leg strength. One more breath. Go ahead, drop your knees, and we'll find a child's pose. So walk the hips back, you can push them back there. Maybe you're on your forearms. Maybe you're in extended child's pose, reaching the hands forward. And then lifting the head, walk the hands back to the knees, the thighs, rise up. So find your blocks, and your blocks can make your arms a little longer. If you don't have blocks, that's cool. We can work without them. But if you have them, set them out in front. Come to your tabletop position. Inhale, reach your right leg behind you. Exhale, hug your right knee in and step your right foot forward. Just replace your right hand and lift yourself up. You're in a kneeling position. You're gonna walk your right foot forward about a full foot's length. So now your right knee is behind your right heel. But you're still nice and tall. That left hip is on top of your left knee. Reach your arms up to the sky. And you're gonna grab opposite elbows. Think of lifting your elbows higher and higher to the ceiling. Now, if you can, shift your hips forward. If that left knee is sensitive, put a blanket under it, or maybe curl the toes under and push a little more through the ball of your left foot. Start to lift your elbows higher, higher, higher as you lift your chest. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. And then exhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. This should feel a little easier. Right, one more breath. And then bring the hands to the heart. And you're just gonna bow forward over that right thigh. This is where blocks can be handy. You can take a block in each hand or be up on your fingertips. Sit the hips back, start to peel the right toes back. Hands or blocks in line with your right knee, and your left hip is once again on top of that left knee. Fold forward over your right leg. Bend your right knee as needed. So this is the second really big hamstring stretch we've done today. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bend your right knee. Left hand is gonna come down under your left shoulder. So I really like a block here because I'm short, right? My arms are short. And so the block under my left hand on the low height just adds a little bit. You can use a book, right, if you wanted to, or something firm to elevate the hand. Or if you're okay with that left hand all the way down, go there. Right hand comes to your right thigh. Start to turn your belly to the right. We're creating a twist. Inhale, lift the heart and twist it to the right. So you can keep that left knee down or curl the left toes under and lift that left thigh up to the sky. Slide your right hand to your right hip and pull your right hip back. Maybe that right arm reaches up to the sky. 3 breaths in your twist. As you exhale, Bring that left hand down. If you have that left knee lifted, keep it lifted. If it's down, go ahead, lift it up. You're going to drop your left heel down, and you may have to hop your left foot up a little bit. And then move your right foot a little to the left so that your right heel draws a line to the middle of your back foot. And then with strong legs, push your feet into the mat, rise up. Turn your hips and your chest, your shoulders to the left side of your mat. Arms open out to the side, bend your front knee, and you're in warrior two. As you inhale, straighten your front leg, and exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Bring the hands to the hips as you straighten that right leg. Turn both feet to the left side of your mat. Grab your belt or strap, and I'm just gonna turn around so my back is not towards you. Bring your feet in a little closer so that you can feel balanced and comfortable, right? You're not feeling too far apart in your legs. And so that strap or belt, if it's really long, you can fold it in half or keep it wide. And you're gonna grip a little wider than your shoulders. Bring the strap down in front of you, pull it nice and tight. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, take it back all the way down to the tail. So if you did some wonky adjustments to get there, widen your grip. Pull it tight. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, releasing. Breathe in, lift up. That's the sticky part, right? Exhale, come down. You're gonna do this 3 more times. And so make sure you're not arching through your spine. Your torso and your legs are steady, right? Steady like a rock. All that's moving is your arms from your shoulder joints. Even your head stays in the same position. And give me one more. Lifting up, reach it up, and release back. And then coming up, and release. Beautiful. Release your strap down. You want to separate your feet so there are legs distance apart. If you open your arms out to the side, your wrists should be right in line with your ankles. Bring your hands to your hip creases. Little bend to your knees, and from your hips, fold down. Release your hands down to the ground. If the hands don't comfortably come down, put blocks under them or be on your fingertips. Lift through your tail. Relax through your upper body. You inhale, begin to lift the head, come halfway up, little bend in your knees, and push through your feet, rise up. Turn your right toes forward and just turn your left toes in slightly. Now your hips are uneven, right? That left hip is higher than your right. We want that for triangle pose. Start to straighten your right leg, but keep a little micro bend in the knee, and then just take a lean. Right, you're just leaning today. You're leaning over that right thigh. You can reach that right hand forward to get even more length. And then right hand to your right leg. left arm's gonna actively reach to the sky. You can take your gaze up. You can use a block under that right hand, just to the outside of your right calf to give you a little more support here. Breathe here. Open through your chest. As you exhale, bring your left hand to your left hip. Start to bend your right knee. You're going to turn your belly towards your right thigh. Set any props you have there off to your side. Hands come down. Left heel lifts and step your right foot back to a high plank pose. Go ahead, lift your hips to the sky, finding really our first downward facing dog. I guess we did one after the dolphin, right? But just lifting the hips. Push through your hands to feel length through your arms and your back, the right side, the left side. Invite a deep breath in, and as you exhale, drop your knees, come back to your table. Just walking your hands back under your shoulders. Inhale, reach your left leg behind you. Exhale, step your left foot forward to replace that left hand and rise up. You're in that kneeling position. You can put a blanket under your right knee if needed. Walk that left foot forward a full foot's length. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, grab opposite elbows. Try to remember your grip from last time and do the opposites. If you can't remember, it's cool, right? So lifting up through your elbows, nice neutral spine. So you're not really arching just yet, right? You're just thinking of those elbows being attached to strings, and the strings are lifting up to the ceiling. Now you can send the hips forward, and you can start to find a little bit of a back bend, lifting your heart. Breathe in and out. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. And then reaching the fingertips up, float them up there, take another breath. As you exhale, bring the hands to the heart, and now you can bow forward. Hands come to the mat or to blocks. Sit the hips halfway back. Peel those left toes back. Hands in line with your left knee. Fold over your left thigh. You're in that half split position. Bending the left knee as needed. Keep actively pulling the toes back. Lifting the head, bend that left knee. We come into the twist. So again, I like a block under my right hand on the low height. Right palm is flat, either to a block or to the mat, and your right shoulder stacks on top of the right wrist. Left hand starts on that left hip and just twist to your left. Turn your belly, your chest to the left. You can hang here the whole time. Maybe slide that left thumb back into your left hip crease because you want to keep pulling that left hip back as you squeeze that left thigh inward. Maybe you add a little more power to it and curl the back toes under and think of lifting that right inner thigh up to the sky. Left arm can reach up. And we take 3 breaths. As you exhale, bring that left hand down. Maybe it grabs a second block. And if you don't have your right knee lifted, go ahead, lift it up. Maybe hop that foot forward just a little bit to bring your right heel down. Move your left foot over to the right. So left heel aligns with the middle of your back foot. So your stance is really long right here, right? And then rise up, cartwheel the arms, open, bend that front knee. You're in warrior two. Left knee tracks over that second toe. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, bend deep, sink down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend deep. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Straighten the front leg, bring your hands to your hips. Turn both feet to face the right side of your mat. Walk your feet in a little closer. So find your belt, your strap. This time I am gonna keep my back to you. I apologize, but it's gonna be easier for you to see. So you're gonna find that same grip, a little wider than your shoulders. Bring your feet in until you're balanced and comfortable. Reach that strap overhead. Nice neutral spine. So if I turn to the side, I'm not arching, right? And I'm not rounding. I'm neutral. Reach up to the sky. Take your grip a little wider. Pull your strap tight. Drop just your right hand down towards the outside of your right hip as you reach that left arm up. And maybe you have to widen your grip a little bit. But think of the front of your right shoulder rolling to the front, right? Rolling out. As you inhale, lift that right hand up. Exhale, drop your left hand down just to the outside of your left hip. Actively pull up with that right hand and pull down with the left. So think of the front of your left shoulder opening out. And this can be shaky, right? You're working, right? You're working in this stretch. Reaching up with that right hand, pulling down with your left. Take another breath. And then inhale, lift that left arm up. Exhale, release the strap or belt. And we come into that forward fold. So separating your feet a leg's distance apart, hands to hips, hinge from your hips, fold. Hands come down to the mat. And just start to lift your tail. Push the front of your thighs into the backs of your thighs. You don't have to do that physically, but internally, that's what you want. As you inhale, lift the head. Exhale, walk the hands forward. Turn your left toes forward and walk the hands towards that left foot. Come on the ball of your right foot. Hands are flat. Step your left foot back, high plank. Take a breath here. You're strong, you can do this. And then lift your hips to downward facing dog. Go ahead, drop your knees, come to table. If you have blocks or a strap right there, move them well out of the way because you need a lot of space for this next one. So today we're doing a lot to strengthen that low back. We're gonna do one more move to help bring you more strength, flexibility in your back body. It's gonna make your life so much easier, right? Because we have strong cores, stomach muscles, back muscles, thighs. We move around with a lot more ease. So come onto your belly, and you want space out in front of you so that you can straighten your arms. And then as you straighten your arms and reach them forward, bring your forehead down so the neck is nice and neutral. As you inhale, lift the hands, lift the head, lift the chest, lift the feet, and exhale, bend the elbows out to side. Feel your shoulder blades squeeze together, palms are down. Inhale, reach the hands forward, exhale, relax down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, lower down. You got it. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, lower down. Beautiful. Come up onto your forearms. We're back in the beloved Sphinx. Right? Wag your tail. And so everything we do from this point is to counter that wonderful work you did in your low back. So you're gonna walk your hands back in line with your chest, pull that belly in and up, lift your table, and we start with child's pose. Sit the hips back to the heels, wiggle them back there. Maybe you're on your forearms, maybe you're stretched out. You can widen your knees here as much as you need to. Begin to lift up, walk your hands towards your knees, your thighs, shift your weight to one side. The legs are going to come out in front. So I really like a blanket in butterfly pose, our next pose. It helps to elevate the hips and make this pose a little easier. You can do it without a blanket by just bringing the soles of the feet together. But if you want to use a blanket, you can fold it up and just sit to the front edge of your blanket. And as you come into this pose with the feet together, hinge forward at your hips and think of walking your sits bones back, those bones you sit on, right? And then as you rise up, you almost want to feel your pelvis slightly tilt forward. Then you can walk the feet in a little closer to the perineum if you wish, or make your diamond bigger. Inhale, sit tall through a nice neutral spine. Exhale, hinging from your hips, bring your belly, your chest forward. Hands can relax or they can come under your feet. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold down. And you want to feel length come out of your low back, right? So no rounding, right? Instead, that spine stays neutral and you continue to reach your belly, your chest forward and down. Go ahead, start to lift yourself up. Bring your hands to the outer thighs, close the thighs together. We're gonna come onto our back for a spinal twist, because really there's nothing better, right, than to make your low back feel good is a spinal twist. So just coming down, you can slide that blanket out of the way. Hug your knees in, drop both knees to the left, reach your right arm out to the right. Your right palm is up to the sky. And just honor any space between your legs here. Imagine the right shoulder relaxing a little more. See if you can bring the back of your right shoulder closer to the mat. And as you breathe, once again relax, right? Notice where your body is pushing back, and don't tighten up, but relax. And as you inhale, lift your knees up through center. Exhale, drop them over to the right, reaching that left arm out to the left. And focus on just feeling relaxed and heavy through your left shoulder, heavy through your legs, soft in your low back. And lifting the knees back through center, go ahead, catch them. And now just massage your low back. Rock around a little bit, side to side, or some circles with the knees. Our final pose, Shavasana. Get comfortable. Maybe you just drop your feet down if your low back is giving you a little trouble today. Just keep your knees bent. Maybe you straighten the legs. Take up a little more space on your mat. Maybe the hands are on the belly, feeling the breath. Or maybe the hands are relaxed, down by the sides. Invite a deep breath in and up through your nose. And open your mouth, let it go. Do that one more time, inhaling. And big sigh out as you exhale. And any movements, any adjustments you need to get a little more comfortable, take them. Allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And relax. Relax your legs, your arms, your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your jaw. Give yourself permission to be still for a few moments of your day. You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. If you're ready to come out of your final pose, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Maybe gently rock the head right and center and left. Begin to bend your knees if your legs are straight. Draw the knees into the belly. You can roll to one side and come up, or just rock up to your seat. Maybe finding a blanket or your blocks to sit on. As you come into that easy cross-legged pose. And join your palms together at your heart. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming to your mat. May we all be well. May we all be free of suffering. May we all be safe and healthy. May we all know true happiness and peace. I thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.